So let me ask you this, because there's so much focus there's been a lot of focus within the podcast, and I think just in the industry as a whole, about support and what that means. And everybody remembers a bad support experience, and it really is that bad. But I think one of the things that we don't look at is when a support engineer has a good or bad experience. And that's not something that's talked about as much as when you call somebody and you have a terrible experience. That's what you focus on. But when you talk about tools and automation, what are some of the things that you guys sit down and look at when you start to build these tools out the end goal is you improve the customer's experience, but how is that translating into what the engineer's experience is like?
That's a great question. So some of the tools and automations that we're working on, I'll give you an example. Things that people don't necessarily think of in automations. You're familiar when you call an 800 number and you see your call may be recorded for quality and assistance and purposes of training. Mm-hmm. But what does that really mean? Some of the tools that we're starting to work on, for example, are distress analytics, automations of being able to say, hey, is this conversation going well or not? Is someone happy or sad? Are they satisfied or unsatisfied? And being able to really map a customer journey through the first touch of when we first start talking to them, either in text format, in email format, on audio, and basically map that customer sentiment and their experience. Are they satisfied? There's a million different ways that you can look at a technical journey, but satisfaction is really a lot more binary, and so looking at the customer satisfaction of the experience, to me, is part of that, type of automation.
Yeah, the thing I like about that too is, and I think one of the reasons why I brought that up is the world we live in now is so much different anyways. Mm-hmm. But on a normal day, world's normal, everything's back to whatever,
anyways these days.
Yeah, exactly. But one of the things that comes into it is you don't know, you get an attack engineer on the phone, you don't know if he or she has, a parent or a friend that's under the weather, or a child that's under the weather, or some stress, their car broke down or whatever. I think that we've gotten into this world of the customer is always right so much that it makes it really easiest for us to say, hey, Mr. Engineer, put your feelings on the side and just worry about the customer being right. But now there's tools out there that kind of let you measure both sides of it and see really where that is. And I think that's a testament to where we're trying to move this industry and, some of the care and feeding that goes into the people behind it as well.
That's really when you're looking at, the customer experience, not just, there's the technical aspects of it, but the people sides of it are grossly under, represented, if you will, in the industry. As you said earlier, people remember a bad experience, and one bad experience washes the hands of 10 good ones because it's what they remember. And you can't always govern what's happening on a day-to-day basis. So, a lot of the things that we're doing is working towards, for example, with call recording, this is how we actually use it, to try and figure out, okay, what's the sentiment of what's going on here? What's the level of satisfaction? Are people conversing, or are they talking over one another? And we take that back to the engineers for feedback. And it's a good growth opportunity. Additionally, when we look at other automations to where you're doing chat automations, be it chat bots or chat integrations, and working with customers, of being able to, pick up as much, metadata as you can so that you can have an intelligent conversation with the customer. If they've logged into the portal and they've authenticated to the site, well, that should be enough for us to be able to have a reasonable conversation with, I know what products you have, I know what products you don't have. But there's a tremendous amount of automation behind that to be able to say, you take that authentication and say, okay, this customer has these products within our portfolio. These are the things that they've had trouble with in the past, or their last case was this. So you can come into it with having a semi-initiated knowing your customer scenario. And that's really what we strive for in that tools and automations, to be able to give that more, behind the curtain, seamless interaction.